Caitlin Clark just confronted her own general manager. Let that sink in for a second. The biggest star in women's basketball, the woman who single-handedly transformed the WNBA, just had a face-to-face showdown with Indiana Fever GM Amber Cox. And it all started with a shocking rumor that the Fever organization issued a freeze-her-out order. This isn't just drama. This is war. For months, fans have been speculating about tension between Clark and the Fever organization. They've pointed to everything from the team's physical play to front office silence as evidence that something is wrong. And now, those rumors have exploded into a full-blown confrontation. Here's what we know. The rumor claimed that Fever leadership, specifically Amber Cox, wanted the team to succeed without Clark. That they were happier when she wasn't on the court. That they were intentionally freezing her out of the team's success. And Clark? She wasn't having it. Sources say Clark confronted Cox directly, demanding to know if the rumors were true. It was a tense, emotional moment that could have destroyed the relationship between the franchise player and her GM. But then something unexpected happened. Cox fired back, publicly. She called the rumors nonsense. She said Clark is a great teammate. She said the whole narrative is ridiculous. But is that the whole story? Or is Cox just doing damage control? Today, we're breaking down everything, the rumors, the confrontation, the public response, and what this really means for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Buckle up, because this one is personal. It started with a tweet. The Fever had just won a game against the Phoenix Mercury, a game that Clark missed because of injury. GM Amber Cox took to social media to thank Fever fans for their support. Seems harmless, right? But then one fan responded with a comment that ignited a firestorm. Amber Cox is always loud after a win without CC. The implication was clear. The Fever organization, specifically its top executive, was celebrating victories that didn't feature Caitlin Clark. The suggestion? That maybe, just maybe, the Fever was happier without their superstar. And this wasn't the first time fans had voiced this concern. Let's rewind a bit. Caitlin Clark's time in the WNBA has been filled with physical play that many fans consider excessive. She's been punched in the throat by Alyssa Thomas. She's been shoved to the ground. She's been the target of aggressive fouls that have left her injured multiple times. And fans have been furious, not just at the players committing the fouls, but at the Fever organization for not protecting their star. Back in June 2025, radio host Dan Dakich went on a tirade, blasting the Fever and the WNBA for their treatment of Clark. He specifically called out Amber Cox for her silence on the issue. Amber Cox, who's the president of the freaking Fever. Her dumbbuzz was on Twitter last night congratulating fans for different things. I mean, I've never heard her stand up, Dakich said. The criticism was clear. The Fever leadership, and Cox in particular, wasn't doing enough to protect Clark. And fans took notice. Then came the freeze-out rumor. Some fans began to believe that the Fever organization was intentionally trying to win without Clark, that they were happier when she wasn't playing. They pointed to the team's 4-0 record in games without Clark as evidence. Was there truth to it? Or was it just a toxic narrative fueled by social media speculation? Either way, the rumor had taken hold. And Clark had heard it. When Caitlin Clark heard the rumors, she was furious. Sources say the confrontation happened behind closed doors, a private conversation between the franchise player and her GM. Clark reportedly asked Cox directly, "Is it true? Are you freezing me out?" And she had every right to be angry. Think about what Clark has been through. She's been the target of physical play that would be unacceptable in any league. She's been injured multiple times. She's been punched in the throat. She's been shoved to the ground. She's missed games because of groin injuries and back injuries. And through all of it, the organization has, at least in the eyes of many fans, been silent. Clark herself has spoken out against the narrative that she's being targeted. People should not be using my name to push those agendas. It's disappointing. It's not acceptable, she said. But the rumors persisted. And now they were directed at her own team. The freeze her out rumor wasn't just about the Fever organization, it was personal. It suggested that the people who were supposed to have Clark's back were secretly working against her. That her own GM was happier when she wasn't playing. Imagine hearing that. Imagine fighting through injuries, dealing with physical play, and giving everything you have to your team, only to hear that your own organization might not want you. Clark had to confront it head-on. And that's exactly what she did. Amber Cox didn't back down. When the fan tweeted that she's always loud after a win without CC, Cox fired back immediately. Nonsense. You know who is also happy after any win? CC. Because this is a team full of people who celebrate and care for one another, and like all of them, she's a great teammate. We all cannot wait to have CC back on the court. Enough with this ridiculous narrative. It was a blunt, no-nonsense response. Cox wasn't just defending herself, she was defending Clark and the entire organization. And she had a point. The Fever are 4-0 in games without Clark, but that doesn't mean the team is better off without her. It means the team has depth. It means they can compete even when their superstar is out. It doesn't mean they don't want her back. Cox also had history on her side. She's spoken highly of Clark in the past, calling her a great teammate and leader who is proud of her. She's also publicly supported Clark during injuries. When Clark was ruled out for the rest of the 2025 season with a groin injury, Cox put out a statement saying, "Caitlin has worked so hard throughout this time, doing everything possible to recover and return to the court, but, ultimately, time is not on our side. Her long-term health and well-being remains our top priority." That doesn't sound like someone who wants to freeze out their star player. But here's the thing, perception matters. And the perception, at least among a segment of Clark's fans, was that the organization wasn't doing enough to protect her. Cox's response was a step in the right direction. It showed that she was willing to engage with the criticism, to push back against the ridiculous narrative. But was it enough? For many fans, the damage was already done. So what actually happened between Clark and Cox? Here's our analysis. Based on everything we've gathered, the confrontation was likely a private conversation where Clark expressed her frustration about the rumors. She wanted answers. She wanted to know if the organization had her back. And Cox, to her credit, seems to have responded directly and honestly. She called the rumors nonsense and made it clear that the organization wants Clark on the court. But there's a bigger issue here. The tension between Clark's fanbase and the Fever organization. Clark's fans are passionate, sometimes to a fault. They see any criticism of Clark or any silence from the organization as a slight. They've been vocal about their belief that the WNBA is treating Clark unfairly. And honestly, they have some valid points. Clark has been the target of physical play that has resulted in injuries. She's been punched in the throat, shoved to the ground, and poked in the eye. The league's response has been inconsistent at best. Does that mean the Fever organization is freezing her out? Probably not. Cox and the Fever have praised Clark repeatedly. They've made it clear they want her to be a Fever player for life. They've even spoken about giving her a lucrative contract extension. The team's 4-0 record without Clark? It's a testament to the team's depth, not a sign that they don't want their superstar. So why does this narrative persist? Because Clark's fans are protective. They've seen their hero get knocked down, literally, and they want someone to blame. And when the organization doesn't speak out loudly enough, they become the target. It's not fair to Cox or the Fever. But it's the reality of being associated with the biggest star in women's basketball. The real question is, what happens now? Will Clark and Cox move past this? Will the organization do more to protect Clark? Will fans finally accept that the Fever wants Clark to succeed? Or will this ridiculous narrative continue to fester? And that's the story of Caitlin Clark's confrontation with Amber Cox, the rumor, the response, and the ridiculous narrative that won't die. Clark confronted her GM. Cox fired back. And now the tension between Clark's fans and the Fever organization is out in the open. Is there a freeze her out order? No. That's just a toxic rumor. But is there tension? Probably. Because when you're the biggest star in the league, everything is magnified, especially the silence. Now we want to hear from you. Do you think the Fever organization is doing enough to protect Caitlin Clark? Or is Amber Cox right? Is this all just nonsense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, it really helps us out. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an update on this story. And share this with a basketball fan who needs to know what's really going on. This is your channel name, signing off. Peace, love, and women's basketball forever. Basketball.